iDiskiTV powered by World Sports Betting. iDiskiTimes.co.za. Tawanda Maswanise, beautiful individual goal. He plays for Motherwell in Scotland. In November, he was voted as the Player of the Month in the Scottish Premiership. Of course, Scottish Premiership is dominated by Hearts this season, very strangely. It's a team that never wins the league. It hasn't won the league maybe in over 40 years, because in the last 40 years, it's been Rangers and Celtic winning the league. But it's interesting, the Scottish Premier League. Then there's a team called Motherwell, there in the Scottish Premier League, that Tawanda Maswanise plays for. He had a beautiful individual goal. That's why I'm talking about him. It was a beautiful goal. Unfortunately for him, it's a goal in vain, because Zimbabwe are going home. And Bafana Bafana will stay on in the tournament for one more game at least. It's the last 16. We'll find out who will be playing. Maybe tomorrow, maybe on Wednesday. 3 goals for Bafana Bafana and 2 goals for Zimbabwe. Lindo Pep, our analyst, what did you think of the game, sir?
Yeah, Mr. Nkeo, sure. I think we'll see technical team.
It's very hot in Johannesburg.
Very hot, Mr. Nkeo. Sidla ama-short namhlanje. Siyabuya. Ne-out yamujasta. Shaya ama-short is relaxile, sipholile. I think
you guys don't have a beach here, so I don't understand why you're wearing shorts.
No, it's hot. It's hot, Mr. Nkeo. It's very hot. But Mr. Nkeo...
Oh yeah, even you are wearing shorts.
Yeah, no, I'm on shorts. Mina ngumuntu wenduku yabona ngishaya nama-quells.
Oh yeah, you're middle class. I don't know what the fuck this is.
I'm a quells.
Cheers, boy. What did you think of the game, sir?
Mr. Nkeo, let me congratulate Hugo Bros and his boys, his troops, Bafana Bafana players. Big congratulations for making it to the next round. But for me, Mr. Nkeo, this is number one. Hugo Bros is looking at this thing like this: 3 games, 2 wins, 1 loss. The loss is against an African giant in Egypt. Controversial decisions happened in the game. He's sitting down with his technical team, with the people that advise him, and they are thinking 3 good games, in their opinion. In my opinion, Mr. Nkeo, as Lindo Pep, happy to make it to the next round, but questionable performances. But let me maybe start with the positives. In the first 20 minutes, I think that we played very well in terms of our build-up process. Our build-up process is something that has been worrying me, because some of the best football we've played, whether in the knockouts, in friendly games, or rather in this competition, is when we have a really good build-up, a clean build-up, where we could find our progressive players. Questionable in midfield as well in terms of the rotation. Ufigo mentioned something very important. He says, and this is something that I know, but it's something that maybe he articulated a little bit better. Some of the best teams, some of the best African nations, some of the best teams in the world, they play with a 3-man midfield that can interchange. Sometimes the 6 can be a 8, the 8 can be a 6, the 8 can be a 10, sometimes the 10 can be a 9. That rotation is important, number 1, for variation. Number 2, you need players that can cover distance. Number 3, you need technical players that are able to control and to dominate the game. So for me, in my opinion, I'm a biggest advocate for Uyaya. But I will tell you why. There's a difference that happens into this season from 23 to 25. The difference is Umshishi, and number 10 that knows how to occupy those golden zones. And number 10 that is energetic, knows how to play Guma Pogoto, knows how to play Guma half space. This time around, you're playing with a different 10. A 10 that is almost, I know you said I confused people, but I hope that I'll
the jargon at some point, because you're a content creator, you always have to reverse engineer what you're doing. You have to think of yourself as someone at home watching this nonsense and think, umntu oyi-security guard owayeka kwa-grade 5 esikolweni uyayi-understanda le nto ka-5 no-10 no-6 no-7 no-6 no-8 no-5, and the 5 that becomes a 6 and a 6 that becomes an 8. So every time you communicate with people, you have to reverse engineer. You have to see it from the end product. Can they understand this? But we hope, of course, football people will understand.
But this is traditional football, 6, 3, 8.
No,
for me,
there's different generations of people. Abantwana bangoku be-PlayStation bona bazi
transition progressive
i-cam CDM CM because ngabe PlayStation. So Mauti 6, I get it, it's a defensive midfielder. Mauti 8 is a holding midfielder who can transition to be an attacking midfielder. Mauti 10 is an attacking midfielder. But anyways, please continue.
Mr. Nkeo, so for me, that's the variation you're looking for. You're looking for variation, you're looking for control, you're looking for dominance, but also you're looking for players that can cover distance. And that's the decision he makes second half.
Maybe apply it to South Africa then.
For sure.
So in the South African context, what does that mean? Guyaya, Tebza, Gumbule, what worked, what didn't work in what you're trying to explain? Ulinda Mdambo, I explain how you need people who are interchangeable. How would it apply with South Africa?
So for example, you need, that's why Urile, Tito Maswanga Mshishi becomes important, because they are a 10 that can progress into being in the attacking areas. For this time around, Umbule plays a 10, at number 10 that doesn't join into a half 9 or a striker. He plays a 10 that comes into midfield for control and dominance and maybe progressive passing. Utebza plays as a 8 that can become a defensive midfielder, where he has got two responsibilities: is to receive the ball in midfield when we have the ball and progress with the ball. In the build-up process, he's the first line because he's good, he's press resistant. We can break that first line of confrontation. Uyaya becomes now a liability in this situation, because when you have Umshishu would drop into those pockets to help Utebza to create a double pivot. I had said, Mina, if you don't want to use Uyaya, and then you can bring Opri from the right, from the left into midfield to create the double pivot. Uyaya is not press resistance. Every time I can receive a ball, he passes where Apege corner. But that's also a variation of him not trusting his ability. There's lack of trust there, because he knows his weaknesses as a football player, and I appreciate that. But also, as a nation, we need more than that.
At the highest level, we should not be having players like that.
For sure, because Umbule is struggling to get the ball, and every time Umbule maka receive the ball, he receives the ball from Umbogazi from deep. That ball comes with a lot of power. He has to control with his back towards goal. That's not his strength, Sagambule. But now, defensively as well, which for me, I need to speak about this. Opri has been doing very well in this competition, but no Mbogazi. But there's two things I did not like in this game, or I did not appreciate. Those were negatives. Mbogazi in that second goal is out of position, but to Opri as well, even though I believe he played so well, in that goal that Zimbabwe plays, he knows the opponent needs to be outside. There's no pass that needs to come central, Mr. Nkeo. That pass should never ever break Opri at the highest level of football in that space. He knows that he has to be here on the inside, give an opportunity of the winger to go. Those situations don't happen on the right, because he's smart. He knows that when he defends, he has to come into the half space, give the winger the line and the wide space. When he receives, then you can commit and win that ball. But if you're out of position, make sure that the ball doesn't come inside. Because Umbogazi and not just to Opri, he's out of position, he's a little bit forward. And we always criticize Ungezane for that thing as well. But Umbogazi, I have to mention this as well. He played very well in terms of recovering mistakes and anticipating. He's a leader that just doesn't wait for another person to make a mistake. He anticipates, he fixes the mistake after.
He cleans up a lot of mess.
He cleans. He's a cleaner. Kunala corner asiza Umbule. Feeds Umbule the ball. Umbule loses the ball. He cleans. Then he does his job of being a leader, of saying you cannot lose that ball there when we are under pressure. More especially with the danger, a threat, a counter. Zimbabwe. Zimbabwe now does this in the first half. I think they played exceptionally well after the first 25 minutes. I said that on Studio. You could see it was an open game in terms of pound for pound. We can do what you can do. If you're playing with a single six, we stay with a single six. If you go with a double pivot, we go with a double pivot, because you could see that boy was chasing Umbule.
Fabish, yeah.
I think he played exceptionally well.
That was a good detail for them. Ugutiba, they have a homework on Umbule.
Yeah.
If Umavelas Nakamba is going to have to defend it defense, then Fabish was another midfielder, which is this is a combination that you're trying to talk about actually with South Africa.
Yes.
The different midfielders must be trying to do different things. Ufabish was Utunya Gumbule.
Yeah.
Up until Amkibe came in, then he kind of started playing and playmaking. But in the first 30, 40 minutes, his worry was, where is Mbule? And every time Mbule had the ball, he was within a second of him.
Yeah. Two negatives that I want to talk about. We get into the progressive lines, we get into the final third. We have wingers that pass backwards. Unacceptable, in my opinion. Mina ngikhule ngazi kudlala ibhola bo-Abraham nabobhika bekakutshela. Papa, mawuphasa move phuma. Ngono sifaka ozoyenza ngcono, ozodribula to eliminate.
And that's not harsh.
Let me tell you something, Mr. Nkeo. Maybe there's a positive of dribbling and eliminating. When you dribble and try to eliminate a player in that space, must lose the ball. We press there.
Yes.
We still high up the pitch. We compress, we counter press in that space. I don't like a player who doesn't like taking risks. Because if you don't take a risk, we will not also have opportunities you counter press. So if Umremi all the time will receive the ball and he passes, and I want to give him credit before I start with the negative, I believe that the first goal he did well with converting. Obviously it's the deflection, him having the white space, but the goal is made by Ulail, because Ulail, he peels off, he hugs the D-line, I'm a centre back, have no one to mark. He's free on the right-hand side, he tries to cut in deflection. But in duration of the game, more especially box to box, where we want to use you as an exit point. When you are a winger, you are an exit point. You are the first point of attack. I expect the team to push a little bit forward. I expect something. I'm not saying create miracles. What I am saying to you, progress the team. Push the team 5 meters, 10 meters a little bit higher. Police tries. Police is the one that tries to eliminate to dribble. If it doesn't happen, he brings it into midfield where we can be dangerous also in the central space. Muremi, one thing that I need him to improve on, because nothing is always bad in football. That's the one part that he needs in his game.
Do you know what's interesting?
Yeah.
And what's a shame is that no one can teach you how to dribble. So you are, as a wide forward, you are who you are. Like, whatever you've been since under 14, under 12, by the time we see you at AFCON with the national team, you are where you are. If he never took that gamble to take on someone to try and get a penalty or whatever, he's never going to be able to do it, unfortunately. And Sesaz, we already know his strengths, actually.
Yeah.
Paris Bamdale left.
Bring in a cross, take a shot.
Yeah, and actually it works for him because it doesn't have to dribble to eliminate anyone. Would you think then in the other games to say Nkota, because even now maybe the impact was not that great, or ultimately you say Mofokeng eventually?
The right winger position is becoming a challenge for us. It's similar to the number 10. It's similar to the right centre back position. Those are our problem positions, in my opinion. But Mr. Nkeu, also, the wingers need to be brought. We need to bring out the best in our wingers based on the midfield we play. That's a second negative, in my opinion. Mr. Nkeu, we can't play with midfielders that can't pass each other. We can't play with midfielders that, Mr. Nkeu, my job is not to analyze the result. My job is to analyze the performance. I'm here to speak about the performance. We won for sure. Am I happy we won? Yes. But I need to speak about the most important things that maybe might cost us moving forward. We have expectations as a country. That's where my analysis also comes from. It doesn't come from hope. It comes from expectation. We cannot have midfielders that can combine with one another. Can I combine in simple form? When we started doing that in the second half,
that's how you control the game.
We looked amazing in the second half when we introduced to Obas. Obas is probably not a flamboyant, sophisticated midfielder, but he gave you two things. He gave you control, he gave you a forward pass, he gave you legs, maybe three. When he understood how he controlled the tempo of the game. That's another thing. It's important. Two things as a midfielder: rhythm and control. Rhythm, control, tempo. He did that to Obas. No matter the technical part, the sophisticated things that we want him to do, he doesn't have that in his game. But he brought tempo. We started controlling the game. Bobonama short passes, Debs are finding Umbule and I being involved. Police being involved. And for me, big credit in the second half for bringing Obas, even though I don't believe that moving forward he's the solution. Because I believe that we need an extra attacking midfielder that can help Umbule if you are sticking with Coach Hugo, sticking with the fact that I'm fighting to play Umbule there. The best bet you can do is maybe bring in a William Fukeng, maybe yes on the right hand side, but don't ask him to play on the right. Ask him to play in the half space as a number 10. Without the ball, he can help you for shape. Without the ball, then just for shape, we could be on the right hand side so that okay,
we have to wrap it up. We still have one more game at least in this tournament. You have, there's a lot of work that needs to be done here. Unfortunately, with tournament football, if that's not what you've been doing to prepare for the tournament, you're not going to suddenly improve it. The combination play, I think we're just going to go back to just playing football matches. Maybe Ronza help us on penalties like the last time and rely on luck. What do you hope for Bafana Bafana? What do you hope? What is the immediate thing they need to change? Because you do look at Ngezana and Bogazi, that combination is going to leak a lot of goals. You do look at that midfield and the mistake that they make. If you even think about the mistake they were making even against Egypt, always they are being turned, always facing their own goal, always being late as well. What do you hope for them, Bafana Bafana, in terms of immediate things that need to be fixed and being able to win matches in the last 16?
For me, I'm sorry to say this, Mr. Nkeu. We are a national team. We need to support our players. But I bring in Usbisi, number 1, for relationship. Number 2, for chemistry. They both play in the same club. For stability as well. He's as aggressive as Umbogazi. Maybe the height, he doesn't have that height. But as aggressive as Umbogazi, defender of the season, use that confidence in plays next to Umbogazi. Another thing, based on the number 10 that we are playing, because we are going to play Umbule into that space, I don't need a 6 like we are. Because I can always invert to Opri. I can always bring Opri closer to Tebs. I ask Tebs sometimes if the game allows us to progress closer to the center line, you still have Umbule, you still have Urile, or whoever that you choose to play into that space. So immediate substitute, I can even bring in Utalente. Number 1, Utalente has a goal in him. He can cover distance, Utalente. And he helps you also with shape. He's got height, he's got the legs to cover. He's dangerous in the box as well. He's got a goal like I mentioned. So that's the immediate change that you need to bring. We need to find solutions on the right-hand side because sometimes our threat, there are goals from him mistake here Zimbabwe. The second goal is from his Zimbabwe, and credit to Lyle because he created those artificial attacks and assisted a goal from him. The first goal comes from him. The second goal, good pressure to pressure the goalkeeper. A big mistake from Washington Arobi. That should never have been a goal. Punchy Paula is Zimbabwe, is Vega, but I'm happy that he didn't make that decision. But for me, those are the immediate changes. You bring in Utalente or you bring in Urile into midfield as a number 10, you drop Umbule a little bit. If not that decision, you bring in Usbisi because now we need to make decisions there at the back before Moshega. Right wing, you need to make a decision now. Who are we going with? Are we going with a half wing or are we going with an out-and-out wing?
All right. There you go. Thank you very much, Lindo Pep. Akusolekanga mntana man, akuphelanga videos. We'll shoot other videos and other we can't shoot 25-minute videos every time. And I'm a little bit under the weather as well. So yeah, that's pretty much it for today. Bafana Bafana, of course, continues in the tournament. We apologize as well if it's going to sound negative, even though we've won. It's not convincing. It's really not convincing, the performances. We're actually very lucky that Zimbabwe decided to throw this game away. If you look at their energy levels, how much they were sprinting in the second half, the mistakes that they created, the deliberate handballs, the deliberate heading back to the goalkeeper deliberately not saving the ball, we're very grateful for that. So let's not be mistaken into thinking that we were dominant in this game. We need to start combining. Or, if we don't, we will play our last game, and there's nothing wrong with that. Maybe we are a last 16 team in Africa. We'll find out, of course, in the next game. iDiskiTV, iDiski Times, also betting.
Shapunjan bafowethu igama lami Lindo Pep, the best analyst in the country. Please don't forget to subscribe to iDiskiTV. Tanko.
This is Bongane Benedict Villagazi, they call me so. Niazi Bafetu, I'm a coach for life. They are back in winning ways. Please, I tell you to subscribe to iDiskiTV.